The cruiserweight division's on Raw. Yay! I don't know how that's gonna go, and I'm not looking forward to it at all. Anything that's under Stephanie McMahon, in my opinion, is gonna probably get buried very quickly. But I don't know why it's not on SmackDown. I mean, there's a way. I don't know. I guess maybe because it's gonna be 3 hours with SmackDown being 2. I don't freaking care. I'm kind of pissed off of the fact that you have something amazing as a cruiserweight division going to be on Raw when it should be on SmackDown, when a SmackDown's the underdog anyway. And they can find a way, in my opinion, to make it work. But other than that, I will say this. They had a lot going on tonight, and there's a lot more to come. Alright, y'all, this is the SmackDown. Well, not really the SmackDown. This is the Raw before the live SmackDown that's going to be coming tomorrow. This is the Raw before the draft. Pretty much everything is going to change, and this show actually kind of made you feel like it's going to change. Now, I have a lot of enjoyable segments and a lot of good moments here. Except for maybe one match, and that was a match with Sin Cara and Baron Corbin. In my opinion, they don't know what they're going to do with Baron Corbin. At least, well, I don't really know whether or not they mentioned the fact that he won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, because in my humble opinion, it's becoming a joke. Because they really haven't done nothing with Baron Corbin except having him feud with Dolph Ziggler, and then they put him in a match that lasted only a few minutes. Well, less than a few minutes. It felt like a few seconds. But other than that, I don't really care much for Baron Corbin. I'm hoping he's in a decent feud to where people will actually start caring about him again. But we actually found out that the Lucha Dragons are now going to be separate. They are no longer a tag team, and it's about freaking time. Because let's be honest, Kalisto is kind of on a higher pedestal than Sin Cara. But I'm hoping that Sin Cara will actually find, better results on another show. But we know that Kalisto is going to probably go on doing stuff that's great because he's a little mini Ray Ray. Let's be honest. He's a little mini Rey Mysterio. And he's going to be considered a little mini Rey Mysterio. So more than likely he's going to find success in whatever brand he's at. But honestly, guys, I really did enjoy the opener. Who didn't? I'm going to be honest. I never really ever thought in my heart of hearts that they were going to have Mick Foley. Even though it makes sense with the whole commissioner thing. And I was thinking of Mick Foley ever since I heard the word commissioner. But he's actually going to be the GM of Raw. But it kind of makes sense. It doesn't really make sense to have Eric Bischoff to be the GM. Because Eric Bischoff he's more strong-willed than Stephanie is. And they will be butting heads all the time. Even though it'll be great TV, it wouldn't last long. I don't think he can deal with Stephanie being in his face all the time. Mick Foley is as passive can be. I mean, we've seen his interviews. His interview with Shane McMahon. He's the most passive guy ever. Not really aggressive at all. It makes sense to have him, but we know his character of Mankind. We know his character of Cactus Jack. And we know his character of Dude Love. You always underestimate Dude Love, but then Dude Love is the most vicious character there is, in my humble opinion. But then Mankind is the craziest, as well as Cactus Jack is just the most dangerous. They all have different, he has 3 different personalities, all completely dangerous and different. He's a guy that you always underestimate. So in a way, I guess I'm okay with the fact that Mick Foley is there. And honestly, seeing Mick Foley with a gray beard just shows how long it's been, and man, it's been a long time. But the biggest moment, and like I said before, it would have been funny if it was not Daniel Bryan that came out as the next GM. But he came out as the next GM. Everybody kept thinking it was a slip or a leak. I had a feeling that they were just bursting at the seams to just admit that this guy's going to be the GM. I thought it was great. I love the dynamic between him and Mick Foley behind the scenes when they did that behind the scenes segment. I thought that was great. You saw the competition in their eyes, but not only with the competition that they both have, it's more respect that they both have. You can sense both of them. And I really did like that. But there was also one thing that bugged me. The 12-man tag team match. The segment before that was hilarious. I enjoyed Enzo and Cass. Enzo was on fire. Before, none of his promos made any freaking sense. It sounded like he took something before he came out there, at least hopped up on pixie sticks or something like that. But he was on point. He outshined Cena. I never thought that would happen. It's like he always does these cracky promos, but then he came out seriously like a true G. Like I love that. I love that about Enzo. I enjoyed that entire segment. And Cena kept acting like it was clueless. It was even funnier when the New Day came out. I'm not gonna lie, that segment was amazing. It just kind of went downhill when the club came out. Yeah, the whole beat John Cena thing kind of ran its course. It would have sounded better if it had a better delivery, but let's be honest, Anderson and Gallows, they're not that funny. But the one thing that kind of made me sad is that they kind of swept under the rug all of that stuff about the final deletion wannabe thing that they did about the meeting at the compound. Even though they showed the compound meeting twice, it just seemed like they swept it under the rug because the New Day wasn't afraid of them anymore. And that was disappointing. The one thing I loved about the compound meeting is the fact that they made it serious. They made the Wyatts more dangerous than they ever could be. They made them scarier. It was like watching something from, it was like watching a Robert Rodriguez. It was like watching a Robert Rodriguez film like Machete or a Slaughterhouse film or something like that. It was so gritty and so hardcore and raw. I loved it. It made the Wyatts look intimidating. But now it just seemed like it swept under the rug and they're just going to move on from it, and that's sad because the Wyatts need to be an intimidating force. And I would have loved for them to take out the New Day. Honestly, I would. But now that we know that the tag teams that want to stay together, they're going to stay together, so the New Day is going to still be together. They're not going to break up. Darn it. But anyway, the matches were pretty stellar. I mean, they were, except for the match with Sin Cara. That was the only bad match of the night. But all the other matches were actually pretty good. I enjoyed most of the matches except for the Baron Corbin one. But the one person that impressed me the most was The Miz. The Miz is amazing on the mic. I love his commentary. I enjoy his commentary. I prefer him to be on commentary occasionally when he comes out and after he performs and stuff, because he's not really doing anything for the IC title. So I honestly don't see him keeping it that long. But he is a great personality. And honestly, Maurice has made him look good. She continues to make him look good. But seeing Lana now, speaking of women and going back and talking about Lana seems like she is sick to death of playing the whole Russian thing. Like, she's probably ready to just be herself, but that's not going to really happen. And you seem like, you can notice that she's slipping in her accent. And she's just getting bored. But with Rusev's match with Zack Ryder, oh my goodness. I get more and more impressed with Zack Ryder by the day. Zack Ryder is a dude that is always underestimated and always underutilized, and I hope they do him well when it comes to this feud. He needs to have a decent title reign. He needs to have an amazing match like he did at WrestleMania 32. I am hoping that he actually does win the U.S. title. He needs to. He really does. I'm looking forward to this. I really am. I think it's going to be an amazing feud, at least until Battleground. I think it's going to be a really great performance from the both of them, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this match. I really did. And I look forward to that match at Battleground. But moving on from there, the back and forth banter between Stephanie and Shane was great. I really did like it. I really did. It's classic Stephanie, classic Shane. But the one thing that makes me happy overall was the way they actually did make the draft a big deal. That's what they really need to do. It looks to me that now, instead of SmackDown reaping the benefits, it looks like that Raw is going to reap the benefits more, because Raw actually gets more picks than SmackDown does. So, I mean, I guess you can expect that since Stephanie's running it. But honestly, y'all, we're going to probably get 6 people coming up from NXT. We're going to find out tomorrow. We know that Bayley and Finn Balor is going to be one of them. I'm curious to see who the others are going to be. But honestly, guys, I look forward to tomorrow night. And more than likely, you're probably going to see a video from me. You might. I don't know. But moving on to the ending of the show. I was kind of pissed off at the cliffhanger. Because I mean, if it wasn't cold out, but other than that, the thing of it is, I was not really happy about the cliffhanger. I wanted it just to be completely clean, moving on to the draft. But instead, we got this massive cliffhanger. Who won? Who had whose arm? Instead of them looking at the footage, which would have changed everything in a matter of seconds, Stephanie was like, the winner, and they just roll with it. I'm like, wait, what? You guys have video footage. You have digital cameras. You have recording tape. I guess you have recording tapes. I don't know. Why don't you go back and look at the footage and see who won? But they didn't do that. They wanted to leave it a cliffhanger, and I hated that. That's the only thing that bothered me about this entire show was the ending. I did not want it to end this way. I wanted to be clean. I wanted to be done. But I didn't get that, and I'm just a little pissed. And as for the divas, it was nice. Well, I'm not going to really say it was nice. It was kind of messed up how Becky Lynch versus Natalya is going stale. It's going extraordinarily stale. Nobody cares about this feud at all. We love Sasha Banks' return. It's just a shame that there was no win. It was a no contest match. And honestly, it's a shame that Sasha versus Charlotte is being completely eclipsed over not only Becky and Natalya, but also over Dana Brooke. Dana Brooke is literally getting stepped on throughout the entire time. She just wasn't ready to go to the main roster, and now it's just she's great on the mic. She's an excellent heel, but she just needs a little bit more work, people taking her seriously. And that's the biggest problem. She's getting stepped on right and left, and that's what makes me really sad because she has a lot of potential. But other than that, Sasha versus Charlotte is getting eclipsed here. But now we're finding out that it's going to be Sasha versus a mystery opponent, and everybody believes it's Bayley. It could be Bayley, but here's the issue with that. If it's Bayley, that means Bayley is going to eclipse everybody, including Sasha Banks and Charlotte. Everybody is going to be eclipsed by Bayley. It's not going to be good for them, but it'll be good for us because I love me some Bayley. Bayley is the only women's wrestler that makes me happy every time she comes out. I have a smile on my face from ear to ear every time I see those little airmen go up. I love me some Bayley. But it makes me sad that I love Sasha too, and I know that Sasha's going to be eclipsed by Bayley. But other than that, that's a whole nother video in itself. But that Divas match was just pointless. It was, as well as the feud with Natalya. But my overall thoughts about this Raw is this. They did an amazing job promoting the draft and making it seem like it's larger than life. And that's what they were supposed to do. The draft is going to be tomorrow night. They're going up against the Republican convention. They got to make this thing a big deal. They got to get people to care. And they actually did do a decent job, in my opinion. I absolutely enjoyed it. I enjoyed it up until the screwy finish. But honestly, it was a great Raw to watch. I enjoyed every bit of it. And the fact they're going up against the Republican convention speaks volumes. They have to keep their A game. And I think they did. And I honestly am looking forward to what is going to happen on SmackDown. But guys, I want to hear your thoughts about this. What do you think about this Raw? Do you think they did a good job promoting the draft? You think they did a good job promoting Battleground? What did you think of the matches? I want to hear your thoughts about this. Leave a comment in the comment section below. I'm curious to hear y'all's thoughts about this. Nature Girl 30 signing off. Peace out. Later.